My wife has started dreaming about things I've done. You left the utensil drawer open this morning, didn't you? She asked, stepping out of our bedroom as the late morning glow filled our kitchen. You slept in quite a bit. I spoke automatically, then paused to digest what she'd said. To my right were the kitchen counters forming an L shape into the corner. The cabinets, the doors, every drawer was closed. I frowned. Right, earlier I was going to make eggs. I'd opened the utensil drawer for a spatula, then the fridge, and a cupboard. Was about to put the pan on the stove when something blunt poked my side. The utensil drawer. I'd forgotten to close it. Well, that's a pretty realistic dream, I told my wife. She stood there in the doorway, bathed in the sun, wearing only her pajamas. For the 14 years I've been married, my wife has never been a napper. Always says that if she's tired during the day, it means she's done a good job for making the day count. Always busy, running around, that one. Whether she's in front of the TV, not watching a movie, but following a workout routine, to out of the house grocery shopping, or staying late at the office, she's never sitting still. Yet here she is now, midday on a weekend, lying down on the couch. I'd been at the store earlier this Saturday, come home to her body curled up on the couch. Hun? I set the groceries down on the counter, going into the living room. I shook her shoulder. She roused immediately, letting out a yawn. Huh? Oh, hey, sorry, I must have drifted off. She rubbed her eyes. I looked at the blanket over her legs and pillow under her head. I smiled. No worries. You've been working hard. I hardly saw you all week. She shook her head as if to say, it was just one of those weeks, when instead she blurted, the store was out of the bleach we use. Eh? You've been going through it so fast lately. I froze. Looked at the counter which was full of groceries. Though the bags were semi-transparent, there was no way she'd know. The rest of the weekend went by quickly. My wife napped on the couch, and I found myself catching up on some of my shows and games. I love my wife, but when she's around there's always something to be done. At least when she's asleep she's not getting after me to get the brakes checked on the car, or vacuum the stairs, or remember to make dinner reservations for next week. How was work today? It was Monday evening and we had just sat down for supper. Just a simple lasagna I'd heated in the oven. Barely a step above a TV dinner. But she didn't seem to mind. Oh, it was weirdly quiet, she replied. I even got a nap in during lunch. Really? You napped at work? I asked, incredulous. She scrunched her nose. Well, technically it was on my break, but yeah. She was about to scoop another bite into her mouth when she added, you've made too much food again? What? I looked down at my plate, finding it nearly empty. I looked back to her and she nodded towards the pan on the stove. The rest of the lasagna was still there. The exact amount remained from what I'd plated. I looked down again, and found my plate empty. I looked back to my wife who, instead of elaborating, was getting up already, covering her plate with a napkin. It was lumpy, wasn't it? The napkin. There had to have been some scraps of food beneath it. So why it was only 6 o'clock, and she moved back onto the couch, curling up her legs, resting her head on the pillow without a word. I didn't know whether to laugh or shout. In all our years of marriage, my wife has never, ever, just left the table still made. She's always doing the dishes right after eating. Has always said that if she didn't, they'd get left overnight and everything would be harder to clean in the morning. Just stay up for a bit longer, then you can go to bed early, I suggested, patting her on the shoulder. She didn't rouse, and I decided not to press her. I did the dishes myself that night. It was on the 3rd week of these naps, these weird dreams, that I decided to stop trying to wake her up from her naps. She stopped helping around the house. The floors stayed unswept, the vacuum collecting dust, the pillows even started to smell. I didn't know what to do. Every time my wife woke from her naps, which was less and less, she'd say something I'd done while she'd been asleep. You left your work keys on your desk. You shouldn't have yelled at that intern today. He's just a kid. You made a big decision after work today, but you're glad you did what you did. You forgot to get gas. Been driving around more than usual. You really need to pay attention. You were so lost in thought today. You almost forgot about him. You made too much food again. You're starting to fall back into old habits you thought you left behind. What's wrong with the bleach we use? Why do you suddenly look for the old kind your mother used? You forgot to call in sick to work today. You won't forget about me like the others. I sit up. I'm in bed. My hazed breathing permeates the everlasting silence that has seeped its way into the house. I look down to my left. My wife's spot. It's sullen, almost as if I can see the sunken shape of her body there. But when I moved to feel her, I grasped nothing but sour air. The aroma of the house stopped being scented candles and fresh air weeks ago. In its places, I'm not sure. I can't smell it anymore, but I think once it was dread. Can a smell be a feeling? It must be, because that's the only word that can describe such a thing. You won't forget about me. What? Swinging my legs over the side of the bed, I flick on the lamp. Wait, no, that's too bright. It'll wake her up. Quickly I turn it off. I blink a few times, my eyes adjusting back to the dark. You won't forget about me. My legs are stiff and nothing wants to move. As I step into the living room, I catch a glance at myself in the full-length mirror outside the bedroom. I move, but that natural sway your arms do when you walk is gone. I can feel my eyelids begging to close for that millisecond it takes to blink, but it never happens. Into the living room I go, and my eyes shift to the couch. There's a lump there. She's breathing. Or is that those fuzzy things that dance in your sight when there's not enough light, giving the illusion of movement? I sit down at her feet, curled up under the blanket. Her head still rests on the pillow, yellow and sour. And moving. That movement. It was the pillow, the blankets, not her. I dare not remove the blanket from her head. How she knew my intentions, I don't know. Maybe we are most awake when we are asleep. In truth, I don't know when she stopped recanting the past and started telling the future. I wonder if it matters. Premonition or not, this was always going to happen when she started dreaming about things I've done. I smoothed the blanket atop sunken flesh. I buried so much within the confines of my memory, smoothed over by the fog of adolescence. This was one I wanted to remember. I won't forget about you.